Welcome to Sew Like a Pro. Let's make a simple kimono robe so that you can be sexy for Valentine's Day. So we're going to use your body measurements. So my hip measurement is 40 inches. So I added 2 inches because I don't want it to hug me. So I measured from my fold line. Of course, we fold this lengthwise, crosswise. It's 4 layers. 2 folds. That's going to be my center back. This one's going to be my center front. So I measured from this edge in to 11 inches. And then I measured from the top down 10 inches. And then I took a lid and put a little curve in there. So I suggest you use a French seam. And if you look on my site, you'll see how to sew a French seam. Or you can serge it, or you can zigzag to finish the seam. So I just want to cut this. And if you like, you can, I think you should purchase, this is just domestic fabric, it's polyester. It depends on what kind of lace you use, whether you want to use a silk, then I would do a better lace. So this fabric can be 45 inches wide. You determine how long you want your sleeve to be, whether it's going to be an elbow length sleeve or it's going to be to your wrist. So make sure you pin it securely because this fabric really moves a lot. So now here my neck, I measured from this fold 3 inches. I did 3 different necklines. I did a regular 3-inch, so it would be 3 inches down, 3 inches out. I did a V neckline. I want a V neckline, and then I measured from the top down 5 inches if you want a scoop neckline. So it depends on what you want. So just 1 layer. I'm going to cut up the front because all you have to do is sew the side seams on this. Take your time so the fabric don't move. You want to keep it even. Pin it securely. And then I want to cut right along the back of the neck. So through the 2 layers.
So we're only cutting up to our V-neck.
Right, and then I want to cut out the V part. And I did it with a slight little curve. Now I can pull all the pins out. Then I want to show you the different laces. And remember what I always do. I always do a little notch right there at the center back neck so I know it's right there in the middle of my back. Right there in the middle of my center back. So I pulled out several different laces. So here we have what's called a Valentine's lace. Usually when you buy this lace, I'm going to put it up on the pink so you can see it well. It comes sometimes single or double layered like this, scallop inside and out. You take your little embroidery scissors and you cut and separate the 2. And then for the Valentine's lace, then it would go on the end. And we do a teeny weeny little zigzag stitch right along the edge. I thought that was really beautiful with the black and the pink. Really, really pop. Then, if not that, this is the domestic lace. It depends on, like I said, if this was silk, then I would use probably a domestic lace. So this you can just sew straight on the edge, turn it under, zigzag it or serge it to finish it, or you can put it on top and zigzag along this edge also. Trim out the bottom. This one is a French lace. My French lace, I definitely would sew on some silk because it's imported, and of course it's not cheap. It's very delicate. It has this beautiful scallop. I would set up my machine with a small zigzag and follow this pattern. Now, in order to make sure that it was balanced, see my sleeve is folded, I would take this and line it up on a fold. This would be my center. So I know I'm going to lose some of this lace. So I want it to end, or when it come back to the other side, and the pattern to match exactly the same. That makes sense? Easy. Then I have another lace. I think this is domestic. I think this is really, really cute. I found this at Walmart. And I thought that was really cute. You could stitch that on it. The pink with the pink is so very feminine. And then if you like, you can sew it all the way down the front, or you can just stitch this on the sleeves. And this is also another imported lace. So this lace, the same thing. You line it up where you like, and then you would zigzag right along following the pattern, and then you would cut this off, and then you would cut this off, and this would be your bottom. And then you would take your scissors and go back and trim out the extra fabric. Alright, so on my front, if I didn't want to lace down my front, I cut a strip 4 inches wide, 2 strips. I stitched them together and I folded in half and pressed it because I want this to finish the neck. So I would start it at the center back, work it around, and stitch all the way down to the bottom. So that's how you'll figure out what measurement you need to finish the front edge. Or, of course, you can finish it using your lace and your pattern. So I'm going to show you right quick how to sew the lace on using your zigzag stitch on the machine. So you want to set the machine on a small zigzag stitch. I already had this set up.
What kind of fabric is this that you're using?
This is just a polyester fabric. It's not expensive. It's very reasonable. I found it at Hancock yesterday. I bought it just purposely for this demonstration. And the machine, my mom friend gave it to me. She passed on, but she knew I would take good care of it for her. And it's just a regular 100% polyester thread. So the only thing expensive here is the lace. But this is just for demonstration purposes only. Now, I would suggest that you would pin this in place before you begin to stitch it, so you can make sure that it all stayed in place and it's not shifting and moving, and you're not stretching it because we don't want it to bubble up. So, line it up and pin it in place. And I had to press mine. It was laying around. Use some stuff you already have at home. Go in that fabric stash and pull out some stuff, and let's make it some beautiful stuff. So here, I want to use this as my guide. Right here, this slit is my guide, and I want to follow right along that edge. So look at that. It's a very small zigzag. This is on 2, and then the length is just on 1. So it's nice and tight and close. Take your time, don't rush. And if it don't want to move, give it a little help. So I'm going to lift it up and turn it. That's why we want to keep the pins in place until you get past that place. And you'll take your time and do that throughout. Lift it up, turn it. Remember, all of this should be pinned in place. Take your time. Get it right back in position. And then I know it's hard to see that, so I'm going to take it up so you can see what it looks like on the back. So it's not a fast process, but you see how small that stitch is? Then you would just go in with your embroidery scissors and cut all the fabric out. And then you're just going to have this at the bottom. So that's very beautiful, delicate pattern on there. And that's going to kick that up a few notches for kind of sexy, feminine lingerie.
Is the only way to do it is to cut the fabric out? There's no way to fold it back or anything like that?
No, because look, it has that scallop pattern. You really want to cut it out. It's not going to unravel. It's not, because the stitches are so small, it's not going to come loose. If you like, you can go back and put some freight check on there and to make sure it don't unravel, but that stitch is so small, it's not going anywhere. And if you took it and folded up, look, you'd have to finish this edge first, and then when you stitch it again, that might show, you're going to see that double layer. It's just more soft and feminine without that in there, so we want to cut that away. So I suggest that you do a French seam, and the notch, if you want to not put the lace around the neck, remember, you take these two and just match the notch up together, and then just sew it at a 1/2 inch seam allowance and just follow it all the way around, and then that's going to be your finished neckline.
Okay.
It's going to look like that. Alright, real easy, simple, fast, except for sewing on the lace. It take a little time, but it's well worth it for a real sexy, cute negligee. Sew like a pro, and be a blessing.